Hello, the game has started. It's me to go first. I've got a balanced rack, no duplicates, but it's not a bingo-y rack with K, V and G. I've got the over prefix, but nothing to go with it. Wow, tricky with so many scoring tiles. What about playing just VOG? C and K have some synergy, and E and R are good. This doesn't offer very much for opponent. Yeah, I am going with this. Great, I have lockers and relocks. They could both be blocked. Do I have anything through these floaters? I've still got over, but with no further vowels. Not seeing anything with the O or the G. Grockles. Okay, so I do have something down from the G. Vog does take an S at the end, so my bingos do currently play. Okay, and they still play because Wig takes an S in front. Grockles has been blocked. I don't have any bingos in column 10, so it's just row E, and it's S and T which go in front of Wig. So I think lockers is better than relocks. Well, is it? I was thinking about it hampering row D plays because nothing goes in front of the C, but it doesn't hamper a 4-letter play, and lockers takes front hooks, whereas relocks does not. So relocks for 84. I think unjoins is good, but I'm not sure there's anywhere for it on this board. V does not make any 2-letter plays, so rows G and I are not bingo lanes, unless they start to the right of the V. So what could I do with this rack? Are there any 8s? Nothing with the R or the E or the L, so I'm not seeing an 8. So what about a 4-letter play beginning with J? Join doesn't work. Nope. What about a column 8 play ending in K? No, J and K don't go great together. Junk is 1 letter too short to really benefit from the K. Junko is good but doesn't score very much. What about a play in column 4, a 5-letter play? I have Jin, J-I-N-N-E. That might stay available. And if opponent plays down from column 8, then Jin is less useful for opponent because they can't use it as a play which gets tripled because they will already have used that triple word square. Swig only takes an S and Vog only takes an S. Fortunately, I have drawn one. Only an E goes after the R, so I can't get my J tripled this turn. And I see no reason not to hang on to the J. I'm not going to score well enough with the other tiles. A play in column 8 doesn't have to end in K. It could end KE or K another vowel. In joke, well, I don't have an E, but in joke in any event not valid. Wow, opponent taking a long time with this play, down to 16 minutes. They did only play off 2 tiles, so I suspect they kept a very good 5-letter set and may have a choice of bingos. Okay, so 28 for opponent. No, nowhere for unjoins as a bingo. That's a shame if it's good. I have a U for the Q, but no good score there. Ginny has been blocked. Opponent's taken out row D. I would like to get rid of J, U, and N. Wow, I could play unjoin in column 6. There's not very much worth hanging on to on my rack apart from the S. This is 17 points. Well, what about blocking this? 16 points, only one fewer point, and I think INOS is better than just OS. Yeah, and I do have a lead to hang on to. Wow, only 16 points when I've got the J. Can I really not get it tripled? Let me put this back. And what about a play through the Q? Not necessarily using the J. Well, I've got Queen and Queen O beginning with the Q, but I'd really like to get any such play doubled. What about a play which does get doubled through the U? Well, I'm not seeing a J and 2 U's play. No, I'm just not seeing anything better than junk, and this is stopping opponent from playing in this spot. Great, this looks a lot closer to a bingo. Repoison, not good. Nothing beginning with an S. Nothing with a V. So snoopier and spoonier and poisoner with an R. None of those work. Quiet takes an S after it, nothing in front. So what about Polonese? That works. Is it good? I think one or both of Polonese and Polonize are good. Wow, I wasn't expecting there to be a bingo there, but I think there is. That spot could be blocked. This triple letter square under the O looks pretty juicy. But I have a bingo's lead at the moment. So a tightish board is fine. Polonese will open the board up, and Polonese is certainly preferable to Polonize if both are good, because the former doesn't take any hooks. Now, do I have anything with a J? No. What about a U? No. It's possible neither of my suggested bingos are good. Wow, again, opponent taking a while. They took a very long time to dispose of the Q. Maybe they had 3 good tiles and were looking for a bingo. Okay, so opponent does take out my bingo lane. Do I have anything with LA? Well, it's the letters for Polonaise, ending AISE, but I don't think that has an anagram. Okay, so what to do? I could play Oop. 24 points, not providing very much for opponent, although if they had an O, they could put a scoring tile next to JO, followed by an O for a decent score. We don't yet see the remaining pool because that only pops up when I think 50 tiles are in the bag. But this rack leave is decent. This score is decent-ish. Should I hold back the O? Well, what does go after JO? B. W and Y. Okay, just one W's gone. Only 24 points, so can I do something better? I like getting rid of precisely these tiles. Just rechecking whether I have a bingo through the U, and I'm not seeing one. Yeah, I'm going with oop. Wow, what a pick. I draw a blank and an N. Both of those are helpful. The second N less so, but I don't think it's a disaster. So, do I have a bingo beginning with O? Great, opponent only puts a G there, 28 points. Creates a new bingo lane in column 11. So, Uppo takes an N, which I've got. So, I've got nesting in column 11. Do I have anything beginning SNE? No, I don't think so. Nesting's a pretty decent option. It provides no bingo-y floaters. And it may even score more than a column 8 play. Let me see what a column 8 play would score. 77. And nesting, 70. So there is a 7-point score difference. Yeah, I do like nesting. Well, it may or may not take an S, but any play in row J would be face value. Let me put NE in and see if I can see a word which definitely doesn't take an S. For example, a word ending in S. I don't need to mentally run through it. I can scroll through this. Not seeing anything so far. That's nesting. Neatnicks with an A. No, nothing's coming up. Or coming to mind, rather. I am going to go with nesting. 470. Wow, what a great pick of 7 random tiles. Even if I don't have a bingo, it's a great pick. But do I have a bingo? Only row J has a 7-letter lane. If nesting takes an S, I would have infernos through an N. Okay, all that fussing over whether nesting took an S, that's been rendered redundant because opponents provided a really good S lane, just 9 points as well. So I suspect they're hanging on to a decent rack lead, and there is a blank unplayed. So do I have... Oh, I thought I mentally saw a 7 with this rack. What was I thinking of? Well, I don't know. Possibly I misread the G as a C, in which case I would have a choice of bingos. But this rack plus a G... Ooh, foreigns. Does foreign take an S? I don't think it does. But does it? Let's find out. No, it doesn't. That's a shame. I don't think it's got an anagram either. So, well, if it had an anagram, it might end ing or ings. Froings doesn't have an E in it. Okay, so the other floater is an O. Wow, this looks such a good set. Am I missing something? There's LA, and it could begin FLA. Not seeing anything there. There's an L, so it could end LS or LES. So this rack plus an L does look promising. I guess it's the F, which is a non-bingo-y tile. Am I missing something? Nothing goes in front of TAM. FOR and FORE are prefixes. What about a 6-letter play onto this triple word square? It could begin OF, FO rather. No, not seeing anything. A pawn doesn't take anything. Nef is good. So what about doing this? Foin for 32, keeping a decent 3-letter set. For 32 points is half a bingo. In takes an S and a T and a G, so I'm creating a new lane, which is good because I do have an eye to bingoing myself with these 3 tiles. So multiple lanes are good, and I certainly can't shut the board down for opponents. Still a Z to come, and ZO is good. Opponent may have been setting that up. Okay, I think I've spent long enough. I am going with Foin. Not good. I draw 4 consonants. Wow. Okay, great. Just 22 for opponent, and they take out that Z spot. So not many floating vowels, and I'd quite like to hang on to the E. Loads of E's to come, but it is my solitary vowel, and duplicate E, not a problem. I could do this for 14 points. Or I could do this for the same score, but keeping 1 fewer consonant, increasing my chances of drawing another vowel. And pest is quite nice. Dressed possibly better if I could be sure of drawing a vowel, and not many floating vowels on the board. But the real problem with this move is the score, which is dismal. But I am providing nothing for opponents. 2 U's to come, so I'm stopping them making a half-decent Q play in row B. I am going, am I? Yes, I am going with, am I? Because column 5 is available, emo is good. This is only 14 points. If I could get 20-odd points. Well, I'm not seeing anything great in that spot. I'm going with drub. Oh my word, opponent does not have the blank. I now have it. And this rack is fantastic. I have surely got a choice of bingos. So I have pesetas in row L. There's a double-double lane in row K. AM takes an E and an I after it in terms of vowels, and a U. Gosh, and an A. So I don't quite have pageants. Anything beginning with, well, oh wow, opponent bingos, 84 points. I have septages, which is nice because it doesn't open column 1. Several takes an S, so I could play in row N, but that opens access to row O. No S's to come. This is the last one, but I am going to burn it in bingoing. One issue with septages is that I'm placing a vowel above this double letter square, so opponent could come down with, for example, E-Zine for a bingo score. But I think that's the only downside. Do I have a play beginning with O? Unlikely, because the blank would have to go next to the G as an I or a U, and I'm not seeing any such bingo. Wow, only 5 minutes on my clock and 33 tiles in the bag. I have been spending time. So septages for 75. And I just noticed I'm sticking an E in the open, which if I had more time... Oh my word, look at that. Back-to-back bingos for opponent, and my lead shrinks to 39 points. Wow. Okay, well, I'm not going to analyse that just yet. So 19 tiles left. I've got HUH here for 35 points and a great rack leave. So I'm minded, given the time, to go with this. An opponent could land the Z next to the I of Winterly for a big score, but I currently lead by 74. And I've drawn the X, which is nice. Hex is good. URE is good. Oh, I don't have the N for Xenia. That would have been immense. Wow. Hack's not good. Oh, I have Exert. This danger I imagined earlier with the Z of E-Zine actually holds true for the X as well, but it's on my rack and not opponent's. So I've got extra. What about a play in the same spot? Which scores more, because Mo could take something. 32 for opponent, so they're not out of it. My lead is only 40. Extra is going to stick. Wow, look at this. A lot of vowels to come. 10 out of 19, and a lot of those are A's. There are bingos with 2 A's. So extra does carry some danger. What about getting the X doubled in row H? And it would be nice to have something ending or playing the Y as well, but I'm not seeing it. Moy is good, but I'm not seeing any Yex words. So what else goes next to MO? MOT, Tex, MOR is good, Rex. No, 4 minutes on my clock. Any alternatives to extra in this spot? Not that I can see, and, well, the Y is a good scoring tile. Hey is good, so I am retaining the possibility of playing YE next turn and possibly a 5-letter play. And Hey only takes an S and there are none left, so that isn't dangerous. I'm going with extra for 60. Okay, pretty grim stuff. Remaining bag is pretty balanced. Oh, and opponent could play Frizz. Ouch. That would be massive. Okay. I don't have any huge plays in column 14. I'm not sure I have anything better than just YE. URA not good. And YE is going to leave just 5 vowels. I could have a 7 vowel rack. But I am grateful for the 60 points from extra. It means I lead by 100. Maybe I should take out this Z danger. But opponent can still get the Z tripled on these triple letter squares, accessible from extra. So what about hot Y spots? And it may seem that I should be focusing on getting rid of vowels, But my priority is to outrun opponent, and Y is my scoring tile. But I'd like to play off a couple of vowels or more with the Y. What do I have bottom left? Oh, great. Opponents. Well, great-ish. Opponents burnt the F, so they're not going to play frizz. So 3 tiles in the bag. Do they have anything ending IZ? I don't think so. That's good news. Now, what about this? I think this is a new word. It's 30 points. I am emptying the bag. But if this is good, 454, I'm going to lead by over 90 points. I don't think opponent can catch me regardless. And it would be fun to play a new word. Well, I've just seen an alternative. 32 points. Oh yeah, and look at this. This is a Z spot. So I think Dia may have stopped opponent getting that Z to score twice, but I just think in general I is a better play. I do have AIY on my rack. Interesting, I could play that through this Y. I'm stopping opponent from playing dazed, so 2 minutes on my clock. I am going with I. And I draw the Z, of course. Here's opponent going out. Could they win? They're going to get a lot on countback. They're going to get 32 points on countback. That would take them to 390. They need 66 points, which they could get from an S. They would have suicided. Fortunately, there are very few bingo lanes on this board, so I think I'm safe. So given my shortage of time, what can I do with my Z? Great, opponent doesn't bingo, and opponent sets up a nice Z spot. I've got Czar. Is opponent going out with CIU, Qt and Tech? So, yeah, and UNC. No, not UNC. Not enough space for that. Not enough space for Juicy. Should I be blocking Qt? CI 1 minute on my clock. Can opponent go out anywhere else with CIU? I don't think QDI is good. Maybe I should be blocking this spot. So do I really... Oh, well, I have Izar. 33 points. That blocks the out, but am I going out with this rack? No. And what would Tsar have scored? 47. I'm sacrificing 14 points to stop opponent going out. What am I going? 50 seconds left. I don't think I've got any alternative down here. I can play bait for 15. I think this is the better play. I'm short on time. But could there be an out somewhere on the board? Teenia doesn't quite fit in. Tor E doesn't work. Nothing ending in D. I've got bait, but I'm looking for outs. 16 for opponent. I've still got bait. Opponent's got a U. Are they stuck with that? Sue. And NU, so they're not. 26 seconds left. I've got bait. Just wondering if I've got to play with N and AL. No. Okay, let me get this down. That's 18 points. I've got eyed if opponent doesn't play in that spot. Well, they can't, but they are surely going out. And they do. And the final score, 414 for opponent, 507 for me, a winning margin of 93 points. So a huge, huge win. Let's see what I missed. Wow, what a great game. Always good to get over 500. So it was me to go first. I didn't go with any of these. My preference is a short play. But the move which catches my attention is Gecko, because R and V do have some decent synergy and the score is good. But I went with Vogue. And you see the options available for opponent after Vogue compared to Gecko are really significant. Really, only one score over 20 points. So opponent plays Wig. Lockers and relocks are the only bingos. Opponent plays Quiet. Phew, no missed bingo here. H10. Sodju and Vox, burning the S, retaining a second N. What do? I played Junk for 16, sacrificing 21 points. Interesting. So is INOS 21 points? Not 21 points, 19 points. Is INOS 19 points better than INN? Well, I's positive, N helps the I. The second N is really bad news. I would say this rack cleave INN is close to maybe fractionally positive, but I'm going to say it's 0. And Junk, INOS, well, the S is worth 8 to 10. Every letter here helps it, or is neutral, and I'm thinking of the O when I say that. I would say this rack cleave is worth 15, maybe. So there could be a 15-point difference in rack cleave evaluation and a 19-point difference in score. And when you take score and rack cleave together, if the difference between two moves is less than 5 points, my preference is the play with the better rack cleave, and I think we're in that sort of territory here. But certainly Junk, not a terrible play. So, opponent's rack. Oh, engram, that's one of the new words. They played Tam for 23. Phew, no missed bingo here, and Oop for 24 was my play. Opponent plays Gone. Now I play Nesting. Wow, no higher bingo available. I still don't know if that takes an S. Nothing obviously better. Opponent plays Vlog for only 9 points from this rack. Wow, they weren't keeping a powerhouse, but they were keeping AELS, a pretty handy 4-letter set. Now, moment of truth. No missed bingo. And D12, Foyne. That was my play. Fantastic. Now, opponent's rack. They play Am. So what are they doing? Yeah, they're still retaining good tiles, if not stellar ones. Now, I felt that maybe I had Mr. Bingo, played a suboptimal play in Foyne, and been punished by the Scrabble gods. But if I was being punished, it wasn't for that reason. Now, this was a tricky rack because it's so unbalanced. I play Drub. Interesting, I could have played Burp in the same spot, and Dest. Dest and Pest probably pretty similar, although the D is a more bingo-y tile than P. D and S compete for being the last letter in a bingo, and P does go really well with the S. So I don't think you can say that Burp is definitely better than Drub, and it may be worse. But what about Det I5? Yeah, that may have been the play, because it's 9 more points and all I'm doing is dropping an E with a good chance of drawing vowels. So I think Det would have been better. Plus, it would be taking out a 7-letter S lane for a bingo. Now, opponent's rack, they've got several for 84. Could have played Velas. and vlogs, but that would open up a triple lane. Now I have this dream rack. So what do? I play septages for 75. The L1 plays all create triple lanes. And even though there are no S's or blanks, I think that would be giving opponent a greater than 0 chance of winning the game. So I don't think these are better plays. Yeah, and then, well, my play doesn't appear because it's 75 rather than 76. But I5, yeah, these I5 plays open triple lanes in row O, so I'm happy with my play. And wow, what a great spot. This looks super non-bingo-y, but an E is just the ticket for opponent. And now I lead by just 30 points. I was mindful of the time and saw HUH fairly quickly, so I got that down. And rack leave super flexible, just the sort of rack leave you want when you're short on time. Reheat J8 provides a couple of useful bingo floaters, and the rack leave's pretty grim, so I like my play. I'm also taking out a Z spot. Opponent plays Boree. And wow, there were alternatives to extra. There was Exeat and Exert. Yeah, and Exeat would have retained one more consonant, so I think Exeat would have been a better play. Although that would have set up a Z spot. Now, opponent plays Fared, setting up a Z spot. And DR is good, so I'm glad I spotted that. And even though the rack leave is better than that after I scores a couple more points, and I am taking out. Well, I'm taking out a Z spot. I'm just wondering if opponent could have got the Z to play twice, which is the only real danger. If I'd played DR, DR takes nothing in front, so any play would have had to have ended in Z. Taha is good. Tiz is good, but IR isn't, so I think it's possible DR would have been better. Now, as it happens, the Z was in the bag. Opponent plays Eddied. I have the Z N14. I thought about Tsar and went with Izar to stop opponent from going out. But could opponent have gone out? Yes, they could. I2 unseal. So, depending on whether you think opponent would have found that or not, Izar was suboptimal to the Tsar play. Now, opponent plays Icy. No out for me. I played bait for 18. Yeah, well, 1 point maximum between that play and 04 plays getting value from the Z. And finally, opponent has a choice of outs and goes with Sue for 3. So, what a game. Absolutely fantastic stuff. I got off to a great early start with relocks and established a good lead with nesting, but then opponent comes back with 2 fantastic bingos of Several and Winterly, and with the Z unplayed and hot Z spots on the board, the win wasn't secure until right before the end. So super exciting stuff, great fun. Many thanks to opponent for a good battle. I hope you enjoyed watching that game. Like, comment and subscribe, and I will see you next time.